The phone rang at 2:03 a.m. on a Wednesday. Martha Harper's hand trembled as she reached for it, her heart thudding in her chest. After years of false leads, unanswered calls and sleepless nights, she had long stopped hoping. "Mrs. Harper, this is Detective Collins from the Travis County Cold Case Unit," said the voice on the other end. Martha gripped the phone tighter, her knuckles white. 30 years of imagining every possible outcome for her daughter Emily, who had disappeared one warm September evening in 2009, had left her cautious but unprepared for this moment. "We have him," Collins continued. "He's 250 meters from your neighborhood. We're moving in." Outside a quiet suburban street in Austin, Texas, police cruisers silently lined the roads. Porch lights blinked on as neighbors peered cautiously through curtains, whispers spreading like wildfire. Inside, a modest brick house, a 44-year-old man was being handcuffed, confusion etched deep into his face. For years, he had believed he had escaped justice. Travis County, Texas, sprawls with neighborhoods tucked against stretches of farmland and interstate highways, where secrets sometimes fester quietly for years. In 2009, Emily Harper's disappearance would shake the community to its core. Emily Harper was 21 years old, bright, ambitious, and full of life. A senior at Austin State University, she balanced coursework in environmental science with a part-time job at a local bookstore. Born in 1988 to Martha and Daniel Harper, Emily was the middle of 3 siblings. Her older brother Jason described her as the heartbeat of our family, relentlessly determined, endlessly kind. Growing up in the quiet suburb of Cedar Creek, Emily was well known, loved, and respected. Everyone in the community seemed to know her, and she loved that familiarity. She often said she dreamed of something bigger than the small town she called home, and by 2009, she seemed to be on the path to achieving just that. Emily's routine was meticulous. Weekdays began before sunrise, with a morning jog along Cedar Creek Parkway. By 8 a.m., she would be in the bookstore, cataloging books, helping customers, and saving every penny she could for graduate school. Her nights were often spent studying or attending lectures at the university. Emily always had her life planned down to the last detail, recalled Sarah Klein, her closest friend. She had goals written in notebooks, applications for grad school, travel plans, even lists of things to do before turning 25. Emily's life, however, was more than routines and goals. She was vibrant, sociable, and connected to everyone around her. She had dated casually, but was entirely focused on her future. The weekend before she disappeared, she had traveled to Dallas with a few friends for a photography workshop. Photos from that trip showed Emily laughing, carefree, her eyes bright, blissfully unaware of the darkness about to enter her life. On Tuesday, September 15, 2009, Emily left her apartment at 6:45 p.m. to walk to her friend Madison's house just 6 blocks away. It was a walk she had made countless times. Her outfit was casual, jeans, a faded green hoodie, and worn sneakers. She carried a small backpack with notes and her digital camera. Emily never returned. When Madison realized she hadn't shown up within 20 minutes, she called Emily's phone. No answer. Concern quickly escalated. By 7:30 p.m., Emily's mother Martha was on the phone with local authorities, panic creeping into every word. Austin police quickly initiated a search, tracing Emily's usual route from Cedar Creek Parkway through a small neighborhood park, across quiet streets, and finally to Madison's doorstep. Flashlights swept over the grassy areas, playground equipment, and tree lines, but found nothing unusual. By midnight, the search had intensified. Friends, neighbors, and family scoured every street, alley, and park in the vicinity. Flyers with Emily's photograph were posted on every lamppost, grocery store, and coffee shop. Local radio and TV stations broadcast her image, urging anyone with information to come forward. The following morning, Emily's backpack was discovered near a creek on the edge of the park. Her camera and notes were still inside, untouched. No signs of struggle, no fingerprints, nothing. Only a small set of footprints, partially washed by the morning dew, hinted that something terrible had occurred. Detective Rachel Simmons, leading the case, described it as methodical, not random. Whoever took Emily planned it carefully. The investigation unfolded in layers. First, a list of nearby men with criminal records was compiled. Then, acquaintances, workers, and former boyfriends were questioned extensively. Phone records, emails, and social media accounts were analyzed for any clue. Weeks of surveillance and hundreds of interviews yielded little. Every lead seemed to vanish into thin air. The community, however, refused to stay silent. Volunteers organized search parties, checked nearby waterways, and patrolled forests and fields. The Harper family offered a $15,000 reward. Churches, local businesses, and universities donated additional funds. Posters of Emily were everywhere, her face haunting the town she had loved so much. Months passed. By early 2010, the FBI had scaled back involvement, although Detective Simmons continued to consult. The case seemed to stall, yet Martha and Daniel Harper never wavered. They turned their home into a hub of activity, meticulously cataloguing tips, visiting schools, and speaking with journalists. "Someone saw something," Martha insisted in interviews. "We just need that one person to speak up." The one-year anniversary of Emily's disappearance saw hundreds of Cedar Creek residents gather at the park where her backpack had been found. White balloons floated into the September sky as Martha addressed the crowd. "Emily is still missing," she said, her voice steady despite grief. "But the truth will come out." Time stretched endlessly for the Harper family. Days turned into weeks, months into years. Emily's bedroom remained untouched. Her graduation cap from university still sat on her desk, alongside textbooks she had never finished. The Harper home became a shrine, a place of remembrance and hope. For nearly a decade, the case remained unsolved. Cold case units reviewed evidence repeatedly, examining items with ever-evolving forensic technology. Fingerprints, fibers, and digital trails were reanalyzed. New leads were occasionally brought forward, each treated with cautious optimism. Then, in the early hours of April 12, 2019, a breakthrough occurred. Detective Collins, now part of the Travis County Cold Case Unit, received an anonymous tip pointing to a man named Leonard Hayes, 52, living quietly in a suburban neighborhood near Cedar Creek. Police moved quickly. At 2:30 p.m., Hayes's house was surrounded. Lights flashed, sirens wailed, and he was arrested without incident. Inside the home, investigators found hidden evidence that tied him to Emily's disappearance. DNA matched Emily's, confirming that the man who had eluded justice for 10 long years was finally caught.
Martha Harper received a call at 2:17 a.m., heart racing. "We got him," Collins whispered. The weight of 10 years of uncertainty, fear, and grief finally lifted, replaced by a hard-earned sense of closure. Emily Harper was remembered not only for the tragedy that ended her life, but for the vibrancy and hope she had carried into the world. Friends recalled her laughter, her intelligence, her relentless drive to create a better life. Her story became a testament to perseverance, community action, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Detective Simmons reflected, "Cases like Emily's remind us that time doesn't erase responsibility. Somebody always knows, somebody always remembers. Justice may be delayed, but it's never denied." The town of Cedar Creek healed slowly, with Emily's memories serving as both a cautionary tale and an inspiration. For her family, friends, and community, the long shadow of unanswered questions was finally lifted. And while nothing could return Emily to her loved ones, the arrest of her abductor marked the triumph of persistence, hope, and the unwavering belief that justice can come even after a decade of silence.